Shalom everyone, a huge honor to have Rabbi Dovid Sipper. He's Executive Director of Hakshiva and the Rabbi at Yeshiva Or Aram in the city of Bet Shemesh for an amazing word of Torah.
Hello everybody. First of all, I'd like to say Good Chodesh. Today begins Rosh Chodesh Ellul. Ellul is a month that we know is a time for introspection, it's a time for self-determination, to understand where we're going and what we should be doing a little bit better. And what better way to begin with this week's parasha, what the Torah reading, that begins Shoftim v'Shotrim titin l'chol b'chol shorecha, which means Shoftim, judges, and Shotrim, and law enforcement, police, you should put in all your gates. In other words, there's an obligation to ensure that every city and every place that a person lives, there has to be a system of a shofet, a court system, and a shoter, and an enforcement way to ensure that the law is kept. But the rabbis, the Hasidic rabbis, said this is actually our entrance to Ellul. Shoftim v'shotrim, titin l'chol b'chol shorecha. We have many shorecha, we have many gates. We have our eyes, we have our ears, we have our mouth, and everything that we do, we first have to be shofet. We first have to judge to ensure that what we're doing is correct. Are we speaking what we should be speaking about? Are we speaking perhaps lashon hara? Are we being honest with the way we're speaking? Are we seeing what we should be seeing? Are we seeing people in the correct light? Are we giving the benefit of the doubt? Are we listening to things that we shouldn't be listening to? Are we listening to slander? Are we listening to abuse of other people? Or are we making sure that we use our eyes, our mouth, and our ears to do the right thing? So we have to be a shofet. We've always got to guard to ensure. We've got to be a shofet. We've got to judge to ensure that we do the right thing. But more than that, we've got to be also a shoter. Shoter means that we have to enforce it. In other words, we've got to make sure that we don't just judge something and then do say as you say and don't do as I do. We have to ensure that we actually follow it through. And we ensure that when we've made a decision, we stick to that decision. And if it's not the right thing to do, we enforce and we make sure that we do what is right. And that will bring us, Be'ezrat Hashem, will hopefully bring us to making ourselves better and more prepared for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It's a famous story. They say that a group of Hasidim were sent to a certain inn by the rabbi. And the rabbi said, hang around there, you'll learn something. And they went and asked the innkeeper all different questions, whether the kashrut, whether it was this kosher, that kosher, how did you slaughter, how did you kasher the chicken, how is it cooked, everything else. And then they sat down and they started speaking about, this person doesn't eat kosher and that person doesn't do the right thing. And this very simple innkeeper came over and said, if you're careful what went into your mouth, as much as it went out of your mouth, everything would be fine. You've got to be careful what goes in and what goes out, what you hear, what you see. We've got to be enforced, and Be'ezrat Hashem will have a wonderful year. Thank you very much.
Amen.